What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So USC football was able to get a couple of guys in the portal recently. They got that defensive lineman from Kentucky, Keeshawn Silver, who was once a North Carolina commit, so that's pretty nice to be able to steal the guy from there. Yeah, he recently is from Kentucky, but he was a five-star guy that went to North Carolina, but luckily now USC has him, and maybe it's because of some of the players that ended up leaving. I'll get into who that may be a little bit later in this video, but now they probably have a little bit more money to spend on some of these top talented players, especially on the defensive line side. So hopefully there will be a lot more guys coming soon to commit and transfer to USC. You never know, but they were able to get a running back from New Mexico who actually did pretty well, even though New Mexico isn't probably like the highest talented Division I team, but they still have some talent out there, and his name was Eli Sanders. And I think right before this, he was at Iowa State, so he did commit out of high school to a pretty good top Big Ten team out there in Iowa State. Excuse me, Big 12. They should be in the Big Ten because they're with Iowa, but for some reason, both of those schools in the same state are in different conferences, which never really made much sense to me. But yes, so he does still have some talent, I think, and he had a really nice stretch towards the end of the season. I think he had over 1,000 yards and almost double-digit touchdowns too last year. So he's a pretty talented guy, even though like I said, he is coming from New Mexico. So USC has had a lot of great success with a lot of these transfer running backs. So hopefully Sanders is the next guy in that line. And they did have some pretty good news with some of their guys returning. Yes, the safety Kamari Ramsey, who transferred from UCLA last year, is looking to come back. I guess he could have technically went to the NFL. He has spent at least 3 years in college, but maybe he didn't hear some good news about where he was getting drafted, and USC offered him a little bit more money to stay, which is nice. So that's really good. So they're able to keep one of their more talented safeties on the roster, which is very awesome in my opinion. And then looks like they got some good news on the offensive line with Emmanuel Pregnon, who it looked like everybody just assumed he was gone, and he's an older player and looking like he's going to get drafted in the second day of next year's draft, but he ends up coming back, and even the new offensive line coach said, yeah, he expects him to play in this game coming up against Texas A&M and return to school next year too. So you didn't know if everything was official or not, him just saying that, but it looks like he might have got a little bit more money to stay to incentivize him, which isn't horrible at all. So luckily they're able to keep some of the more talented guys on the roster still, so I'm not mad about that at all. And speaking of some of those guys, I think there was like even Woody Marks, the running back, he put out a whole big post on social media saying he's declaring for the NFL draft, which was a little bit surprising because I thought he already spent like 4 years in college. Maybe he had a COVID year, so he could have technically stayed, but I think once you're a running back, you kind of have to leave right away because they use you up quite a bit in college, and then once you get to the NFL on that first 3 to 4 year contract, they use you up quite a bit, and then they kind of just draft the next healthy guy after you suffered and gone through all those injuries early in your career. But I guess he is going to take advantage of this, of having a great season at USC, and we thank him for it, and we'll be rooting for him wherever he ends up in the NFL. And then, yeah, there was some big news coaching-wise. They didn't really let go of Josh Henson, I guess, the offensive line coach for USC. Henson accepted the offensive coordinator job at Purdue, so I guess it's a step up. He's not just coaching one position, but coaching all of the offense, so I guess it's an upgrade for him. But they did upgrade their tight ends coach, Zach Hansen, to now be the offensive line coach. I don't know if he's still going to be the tight ends coach as well, but I guess it kind of still coincides with him coaching the same positions, at least the tackles wise, because if he was coaching the tight ends to learn how to block and receive, he was also probably teaching the tackles because they're right next to a lot of the tight ends too. So it made a lot of sense. We'll see. I know Lincoln Riley was probably looking at some other people to maybe upgrade that position coaching wise, but just decided to stay in-house, and we'll see how it goes. So you probably need a new tight ends coach. You still don't have a linebackers coach, but hoping they get that all situated pretty soon. And USC got a couple commitments and a transfer punter as well. They got one of the top like 5-star according to his rankings in high school His name is Will Weisberg. He did commit to USC, and then also a punter and Sam Johnson committed pretty recently too. But I believe he's the transfer. I think he's from Valparaiso, which is somewhere in Alabama, I believe. So I think he's from out in that state and looking to continue. So I guess he will come in to retire to replace the Ray Guy Award winner Eddie Chaplitsky for at least a season or two, and then Will come in and hopefully be developed after a couple seasons and be able to lead USC at that position. So looking forward to seeing what these guys can do. And then, yeah, they have named Jaden Maiava, the USC quarterback, as a potential Heisman contender, which is always good to hear that you have at least one of the talented guys in a lot of people's eyes heading into college next season on your roster, at least as for right now, because if USC ends up getting another transfer quarterback that he doesn't think he could beat out, then he's probably going to end up leaving too. But hopefully that's not the case in this situation. And then one of their incoming linebackers, Matai Tagovailoa, looks like he's going to be one of the first people to partially get some of his NIL compensated through Bitcoin. So I guess he saw the writing on the wall that maybe that's the way to go when it comes to getting money and, you know, providing for his future and for his family to get some money through Bitcoin. So that's pretty interesting. Maybe that can entice some other players to want to come to USC with their NIL collective. And then, yes, speaking of some of the bad stuff that happened, a couple more players that are leaving. The Branch brothers, Zachariah Branch, the 5-star wide receiver, and his 4-star safety brother Zion, who came in a year prior, are both entering the portal. And then also that 3-star defensive lineman Elijah Hughes, after 2 seasons, is entering the portal from USC. So, I don't know. You thought he could get some more playing time, but they already brought in Keeshawn Silver, who's kind of at his position. Jakeem Stewart, the probably number 1 defensive lineman, at least edge player in the 2025 recruiting class, is coming too. So maybe he just thought he wasn't going to get more playing time. It did decrease from his first season in this season, less playing time. So I guess he's just going to move on and see where he ends up. But good luck to him. I don't know so much about the Branch brothers, but maybe they were paying too much to Branch and didn't get their money's worth. And now that's why they can afford to keep some of these guys from going to the NFL draft or maybe even transferring to other schools. So hopefully that's the case and they're using their money wisely now. And then, yeah, keep getting reminded about this USC women's basketball against UConn. I believe that's Saturday, like around 5 o'clock Pacific time. So, yeah, it's a big game. I think they're going over to UConn, and then next year UConn comes to USC at the Galen Center. So, yeah, that'll be pretty fun to see. Hoping for a USC victory. But, yeah, it's been promoted quite a bit on Fox and all those other sports channels, so getting me hyped up to watch this game this weekend. And the USC men's basketball team got a victory. I forget who they played against, maybe CSUN. Cal State Northridge, and got that victory 90-69, so congrats to them. The Duke men's basketball team played against George Mason and got that victory 68-49. Cooper Flagg, the freshman, had 24 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Duke football did get a commitment from ex-Oklahoma wide receiver Andrell Anthony, and I think he was also ex-Michigan, so they got a pretty nice player in the portal, so congrats to them. The Chargers were playing Thursday Night Football against the Broncos and got that victory 34-27, so now they're kind of solidified in the playoffs, at least a wild card spot. And then now Herbert has the most completions in NFL history before turning 27 years old, so I guess that's a nice stat he could be proud of. Lakers were able to beat the Memphis Grizzlies the other day, 116-110. Anthony Davis threw down 40 points, 16 rebounds. So that's a great win. And then they also had a win tonight against the Sacramento Queens, 113-100. Anthony Davis stepped up once again with 21 points, 20 rebounds, and 6 blocks. So yeah, great little bit of a win streak here. And then the Duke football team did sign a defensive lineman and Josiah Green from Dartmouth. So that's a big pickup, I believe, for them. So congrats. Then the Duke women's basketball team defeated Wofford 93-58 the other day. So big time win for the ladies. The Anaheim Ducks got a victory against Montreal something, maybe the Canadians, I forget. It's 3-2. So congrats. And then ex-USC player DeAnthony Melton was traded from the Warriors to the Brooklyn Nets. So we'll see how he does now. I think he's still injured. Deion Henley of the Chargers is top 5 overall with 131 tackles after week 15, so he probably added a bit more to that, so we'll see where he ends up. And then some of the top MLB draft prospects in 2025, Andrew Healy of Duke is on that list, so congrats to him. See what he can do for this team. And yeah, sorry I had to read through all that really quickly, but I want to try to get this video done as soon as possible. So yeah, nice little update. Got some more stuff coming out soon, but I want to get a lot of more of this important stuff done before the weekend to see what else ends up happening for my teams. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a good rest of your day.